You're welcome back. Now, earlier in the week, the Independent National Electoral Commission proposing a budget of 126 billion naira for its 2025 operations, citing the rising cost of conducting elections in Nigeria. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu expressed concern that the approved 40 billion naira for 2024 would be inadequate to cover the upcoming activities for the year. Yakubu underscored the financial burden of organizing 21 by-elections nationwide, with 11 still pending, and stressed that the Commission's activities are highly capital-intensive, necessitating substantial funding. To ensure the efficient and timely execution of elections, he proposed that election funding should be sourced directly from the Federation account.
Honorable Bob, you touched on a very, very important issue. We need a big, major conversation in this country. Nigeria has no election season any longer. I said earlier that in Ghana, they conducted only 3 by-elections between one general election and another. In our own case, even before the midterm, vacancies have now occurred in 21 constituencies. But not only that, we also have 8 governorship elections conducted off-cycle. So the Commission is conducting elections virtually all year round. We have little time to recover our senses and begin to plan for the next election. For instance, in the election year 2023, we conducted 3 off-cycle governorship elections. The registered voters in some of the states is actually bigger than some of the countries in our sub-region. In Edo State, for instance, with 2.5 million registered voters, they have more voters than the Republic of Liberia. So a governorship election in Ondo is like Edo is like a governorship election in Liberia. The state with the smallest number of registered voters in Nigeria is Ekiti. Ekiti has more registered voters than the Republic of Gambia. And it has more registered voters than Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde put together. So conducting election in Nigeria is huge. Then we come.
Join us live to discuss this development from SL, the local government in Ondo State. We have political analyst Allen Sowore. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Sowore, and thanks for joining us on the news.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Now, given the current allocation of 40 billion naira for INEC in 2025, which is considered insufficient, what are the likely consequences for the Commission's ability to carry out its responsibilities, particularly with preparations for the 2027 general elections and also some by-elections that it has to conduct for vacant seats?
Yeah, thank you very much. As much as I will call for greater transparency and accountability of the management of election resources by INEC, I share in their sentiment that the allocation of 40 billion naira is grossly inadequate for INEC to cash out with by-elections across the nation. One very important thing that we should know is that INEC has not been able to cash out with the conduct of by-election. And sometimes you see INEC dragging on. And this is a serious issue. I would draw your attention to a very fundamental flaw that INEC has not been able to cash out with. And that is the provision of Section 160, Section 68, 1 sub G, and 109, 1 sub G, which says that the cross-carpeting or defection of a member of the legislative arm of government in Nigeria will make its seat vacant. That's how the Constitution puts it. That the moment a member of the legislative arm deflect or defect to another political party rather than the political party which he was elected on, his seat ceases. There is no court, no process, no any other thing.
So, Allen, why do you think INEC has been unable to enforce this citing of the Constitution, this provision?
I think yes, that's what I'm.
Hello, Allen Sowore, are you still with us?
Necessarily be on the budget of INEC to conduct election into such decision by a member elected on a different platform who decided to move to other political party have been hindering INEC. So INEC is not catching up with it because they don't want to spend. So that is the situation we have in Rivers.
You're saying they don't. You say they don't want to spend, and INEC is saying, look, they're grossly underfunded. They even suggested having direct access to the federation accounts. But beyond that, just before we let you go, what are the other possible areas where INEC could improve the efficiency of its resource allocation, particularly in managing its personnel, buildings, election-related expenses, to ensure better election management with the available budget?
The challenge I've seen with INEC is that on many occasions, INEC decided, or maybe because of transparency or credibility too, INEC don't make use of their local staff in conducting an election. So INEC likes to deploy staff from Abuja. I'm giving you instance like the chairman mentioned, Ondo, which I witnessed. INEC will rather deploy staff from Abuja, from the Northern Central District to conduct election in the South. It could be a strategy for them, but this is area where INEC activities or operation consumes a lot of money, because when you consider the geographical nature of Nigeria, and you see INEC wants to conduct election in South, and they are bringing in staff, resources,
it adds to the logistical, it adds to the final cost and logistics, like you rightly said. Now, just before I let you go, Allen, we did hear in that press conference that the INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, describing the peculiar political terrain we have in Nigeria, 8 governorship off-cycle elections between one general election to the next, and numerous by-elections. It does calls for concern for INEC, and it does add to their overhead. Having said that, INEC also suggested that they made a proposal that they should be able to get funding directly from the Federation accounts and not go through the National Assembly. What do you make of their suggestion? Should they have access to direct funding from the Federation account because of the peculiar nature of politics in Nigeria and the frequency at which they have elections?
Honestly, I will support that idea where INEC have their funding directly. In other words, first line charge. That will give INEC more independence in terms of funding. I do not believe that INEC should be part of the regular agencies or parastatal that should be cap in hand to beg for resources anytime they want to spend, because they have to conduct election even of the president. So INEC should have access or be able to access funds directly from the Federation account.
Thank you so much for your insights and contribution, Allen Sowore, political analyst, joining us from Odo local government area of Ondo State. Thank you.